Admit all. You are in like hello, Miss Lorraine. You admit. Good morning. Oh, I should probably move that. All of my personal information for everyone to see. Good morning.
Hi, everybody.
Good morning. I'm just letting everyone in right now. Let me go ahead and get in here. Join.
So that's actually
Spotlight for everyone. I'm just waiting for everyone to show up. Here's my fork from lunch yesterday. And of course, I could not find my sample. So I have the little one with the little waves. We're going to be starting out. I actually, this morning, I decided, you know what? I want to, hang on a second. I want to do different colors. So I cut myself some pink and I cut myself some of the robin's egg, which, where is it? Let me grab it. Let me grab it right now because I just cut it. So where is it? Did you get my Okay, well, I'm gonna try. No problem. Okay. Are you ready? Oh, I'm good. Thank you. All right. Let me go ahead and admit the rest of the people. Let's just keep letting them in. Ooh, this is when I like to look around your sewing rooms, like yours, Miss Lori.
Oh yeah, I'm in our guest room.
This is when
Has the cat on the bed.
Oh, what's that? The cat's over there. Let me see the cat again.
Okay, let me go over there. I'll unplug for a minute.
Company when you're stitching?
Yes, she like sits in the door and she waits.
Oh yeah. Oh, you know, I just love it. Like they'll sit at my feet and we just have so much fun when I am with when I'm at home. But what we're gonna do, and we have like another minute, so I'm just gonna wait for everyone else to log back in. I was just thinking, although I love these colors and they're so great for Father's Day, and of course I can't find my other wallet, But I did this one where I trimmed this like a quarter of an inch all the way around. I really like an eighth of an inch better. And that's what I did on my camel colored wallet. So you can kind of play with that. This is a really easy project. What we're going to do though is we're going to work in stages, and we're going to go ahead and stitch out. You're going to stitch this front part out first. So we're going to do that for 2 of the wallets. We're only going to be completing the camel colored wallet today, and then you can finish this other one later on. But we are going to stitch out the front part of both of those wallets. I did have a little issue with my kit, and when I went to use my kit, because I just grabbed one from the store, I had heat away topping and not the I had heat away instead of the dissolve away. So if you did get a kit from us, I want you to check your kit, and I want you to just confirm, because I don't want you to use, if you have the heat away, I say don't use any at all. This was stitched out without any topping. So you can see like here, I stitched this top row without topping. And then I stitched the bottom row with topping. And like, if you look at this bottom, like right here, it's really not much different. I don't think there's any difference. So I say, if you don't have topping, go without topping rather than using your heat away topping, because the heat away, I don't want you putting an iron on your leather. So to test your topping, this is what you do. I grab this. We usually have, I keep all of the little inside things, and they must have fallen out. And so I guess we just didn't know. I was testing this morning to see if this was dissolve away or heat away. And you can just kind of take a little bit of it. Don't be grossed out. And I won't give you a piece that I put my saliva on, but I just wet my fingers, and then I just grab the corner. And if it gets gooey, which this one just totally got gooey, then I know that that is water dissolve away. If it doesn't get gooey, then guess what? You have heat away. Don't use it. Just go without. You will totally be fine. And so sorry about that. We just had rolls, I guess, next to each other, and we didn't know. We grabbed the wrong one, so you might have gotten a heat away. All right. First thing we're going to do is I'm going to go ahead and put you on gallery view so I can see you right now, is we're just going to, oh, look, there's everyone. Good morning. We are going to go ahead and hoop our stabilizer. So you should have a piece. Asuli, are you embroidering and driving at the same time? It's dangerous. Don't do it. Just watching, not stitching. Some of you are just watching. Asuli, I think, is just watching because she's in her car. Lila, you always look comfortable in the chair. I think, and so do you, Miss Cheryl. Let's grab your 5x7 hoop. So we're gonna grab our 5x7 hoop, and you're gonna grab your dissolve away stabilizer. I just had a big piece of dissolve away in my stash, so that's what I'm using. But you should have a pretty little piece that's gonna fit perfectly in your 5x7 hoop. This would be a great project to assembly line. So if you have a ton of graduations coming up, if you have birthdays, Christmas, and you want to give out gift cards, and this is what I was going to talk about, that Patrick was like, why don't you talk about that in the class and not on the live feed? It made me a little spicy when he said that to me. But what I was thinking you could do is, if you don't want to do the design here, you could do one where you just did like their name. You could do one where you personalize, you know what I mean, where we combined designs. And if we have time, maybe I'll show you what I mean by that. But you could do this part right here is what we're going to stitch out first. That could be your canvas. And you could put anything on here that you want. And then you could turn this into a project for any occasion. You could do something where it's going to be like the schools that your kids go to. So you could do it for fundraisers. You could do this. I was just thinking about this morning and getting all excited, thinking about all the ways that you could personalize this. You could personalize the back of it if you wanted, where you could, holidays, wine, university. So you could do anything with this project and just pre-embroider stuff and then just make it your own. But I thought I used to do a lot of craft fairs because makers got to make, right? So sometimes it's hard to, you're like, who am I going to give this to? After you make like the 100th quilt and you're trying to figure it out. So I know a lot of people do craft fairs. It would be a great project because you could assembly line it, put it in your biggest hoop, fill it up with like maybe 8 at a time and do this. So I'm going to just go ahead and hoop up. This is where Poppy grabbed this and put it in her mouth. And I just have this big old piece that I'm going to use. You know what? I'm going to go this way. I oftentimes leave my stabilizer on the roll because then you get so much more out of it than like pre-cutting stuff. So hoop up your stabilizer only. Let me grab my instructions too so I don't lead you astray because you know I start getting really excited and then then I lead you onto a journey where we're at like the point of no return. We're going to go ahead and we're going to stitch out. So if you got a kit from us, and if you didn't, you're just going to do one of them. But if you did get a kit, this is the best way to do it for me. I thought you can fit 2 of the fronts in one hooping. So if you got a kit, you're going to grab one of your, yeah, this is 3.5 by 5.5, and I'm going to grab 2 of them. You would have a green one, and then you would have a camel colored one. I just thought I'd do something with some other fun colors. Yes, Patrick.
One of the things,
yeah,
when she goes to log in, it's asking for a passcode and a login.
Can you go on to Zoom and find it for her and give it to her?
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, let's come on over to the machine. For the very first stitch out, your bobbin color doesn't make a difference, although we are gonna be looking for a matching bobbin at the very end when we stitch everything all together. So just go ahead and grab a bobbin. Where's I brought my bobbin boat with me. I love the bobbin boats because then I can just like take the thread colors that I'm gonna need, and these were the colors that I used. So I would have at least like an 80-12 needle in there because we're going to be going through some layers, but it's really soft stuff. So if you don't worry about it. I think you'll be fine. We will be working on adjusting our foot pressure today. And so for me, the first color I'm going to put in, because color doesn't make a difference until we get to right here, is whatever color you want to do the first thing of diagonals. And I did use like this peacock color, but I'm going to do this one first. And so I brought some pretty colors to do with that. I thought I would just do, these are the colors that I picked out to do with this. So that's what I'm going to be using. So grab 3 different colors, and then you do need a color that's going to match your, So grab those colors right now. And I'm going to start with purple. This one is pretty. It's Damson.
Jeannie, do you have colors?
All right,
for the
go ahead and load that up. Load your hoop up, and then we'll load up the design.
Jeannie, do you have colors for the design?
Yeah.
I mean, thread colors.
What was that?
Do you have thread colors for the camel?
For the camel. For the camel, the colors I used like a peacock. I wish I could show you but I can't find my wallet. I used a peacock, a green, and then I used a charcoal gray. That's what I used, but you could use anything that you want. You're gonna see they have recommended colors down here. So there's the peacock. They used more like a cranberry color, but I don't know. That wasn't my color, but they used like a peacock, a cranberry red, and then they used a dark gray. And then you need the color that matches the leather. So a camel colored leather. And the one that I brought that matched perfectly was this, and it is medium brown. That was like a good match for that. So I brought those with me because this is what I used for that. I used something like this. That's what I used for the camel. But whatever colors that would make your heart happy, that's what I want you to use. All right, we're gonna load the design. Let me get my USB. Aren't these cute? This was, I think this was from Baby Lock. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that in. Let's go embroidery. So you're going to have a couple different designs. So let's go ahead and hit that. The other thing I want you to do is I want you to go ahead and pick your hoop size. It's just a good habit and it lets you know how much space you have. This is how you pick it on a Baby Lock or Brother machine. You're going to have something that looks like notebook paper, might be up here, might be down here below. Wanda just got in. I'm just letting her in. And so I'm going to go up here. Wanda, we're just setting our design right now. And I'm going to choose the 5x7 hoop. What that does is it sets the perimeter so you know how much space you have. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab my design. And we're going to do these two all in one hooping. So I'm going to go ahead and load this one first. Whatever you load first is what's going to stitch first. Go ahead and touch set. And I'm going to go ahead and edit, move, and I'm just going to scoot him up to the top. Is there only one size available? There is only one size available for this, but if you wanted to make it bigger, I don't know if you'd want to make it, I guess you can make it bigger, but what would you put in there? Because it really is meant for like your credit cards and I'm trying to think of what you could put in there. Maybe you can make a billfold so you could measure cash, I guess, or whatever, any other way you want to repurpose it. We're going to go ahead and add. So Wanda, all I did was choose my hoop size. And now we're loading. We're going to stitch out the two front parts of the wallet first. So we're going to stitch out this part right here. And then we're going to go ahead and we're going to stitch out the, the mermaid like one too. So we're going to hit add. So go ahead and touch add. I'm going to go to my USB and we're going to add this other one right here and go ahead and touch set. Mine are overlapping. So I'm going to do, instead of using my finger, because it maybe might move the one behind it, I'm going to just use my move keys. And you can space this out however you want. You don't need a lot of room, but I might as well just move this one towards the bottom. But choosing that 5x7 lets you know exactly where, you know, how far you can move it up or down. We're going to go ahead and touch OK. In embroidery. And if you want, we can go ahead and we can color group. Color grouping is going to allow us to do our placement line all at once. And let me see, there's not really any repeats of colors. So let's go ahead and go layout. And this is your color group. If you don't have this feature, I know some of you might not have it, so we're not going to use it today, but color grouping, do you see how it did all the placement, all the tack down all together? But since we don't all have it, I'm just going to go ahead and leave it off and we'll just do this top one and then we'll do the second one. And we are ready. So I'm going to go ahead and get my hoop put on. I hooped up my dissolve away. It's a big old piece. And I just have a regular white bobbin in. We are going to need a matching bobbin, but just not right this second. Okay, first step. If you are doing, if you're doing the camel colored leather, for the very first stitch out, I did this color, this peacock color. But I'm going to be doing this because I wanted to do something kind of fun. So I'm going to do this color, okay? So I'm going to go ahead. Oh, I'm sorry. I'm doing purple. I already put it in. So go ahead and touch start. It's going to do a placement line. And I'm going to grab my leather. And I did do some taping, or you can spray. Some of it I taped, some of it I sprayed. We're going to be starting with two of the little pieces. So you have the 4.5 by 5.5 and the 3.5 by 5.5. These are what we're using right now. This is going to come later. So grab two of your small pieces and I'm going to flip them over and just give it a little shot of spray, or you can tape, whatever makes you happy. The spray I like to use is going to be Ganold KK 100. Right here. Here we go. And was I doing pink first? I can't remember. I like both of the colors that I chose for all of it. So I'm just going to lay this down. Make sure that you kind of center it. Just look underneath, make sure that the stitches are kind of centered this way and this way. If it looks good, just put it down. And now it wants to cover the leather with your wash away. If you have your wash away, great. If you don't, like I said, if you are just joining, some of our kits were accidentally kitted with heat away. Just, I know this sounds gross. Put a little spin on your finger and grab the corner of it. And if it gets gooey, then that's going to be wash away. So if you have the wash away, use it. If you don't worry about it. I didn't even feel like it made a difference. But I'm going to go ahead and lay this down because I have it. And I'm going to tape it. This is the tape I'm using. Ooh, Wanda's using red vinyl. Okay, I want to see it when you're done. I'm sure it's going to be amazing. So this is transport tape. This is my favorite tape. I love it because it is easy to use and it rips so easily. I'm going to tape this up here and I'm going to tape it over here. You can tape it on all the sides. I'm just going to tape it right in those two spots. All right, cover with wash away, tape the topping in place, stitch the pocket a tack down line. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Trying to get my camera to work. Whether or not you have the topping, it's going to be a nice big bold line. If you get a little creek. Did somebody say something?
Yeah, I did. What size USB sticks do you use in your 3?
Wait, can you say that one more time?
What size USB sticks can you use in your Luminaire?
Okay, that's a good question. I usually stick to an 8 gigabyte and a 16 gigabyte. The other day, I'm going to pull this back a little bit so it's not so loud. The other day, I was trying to do a 32 gigabyte and I was struggling. I was trying to load, this design. I had some designs on my USB. I was trying to load this. I had 3, they were exactly the same USBs. They were 3, all of them were 32 gigabytes. And I had Patrick come and clear the memory on my machine. Okay, let's look at this. So we're done with the outline. I'm going to go here where you can go forward and backward stitches, or you can just touch this. You just want to make sure that you see what you're stitching. It's going to do these, the part of the plaid, and I'm doing that in the same color. So I'm just going to go ahead and let it start. I did a couple of things. I thought maybe my machine needs to be updated, and it did. I was at 4.03, which I know is really bad. So I updated my machine, and I had Patrick clear my memory, and that still didn't do anything. And then I said, maybe I put a corrupt file on, or maybe it's my USB, and I put it onto one of my smaller USBs, and it worked totally fine. So... but I feel like I've had other bigger USBs that I've had no problem. So these were all from, I can't remember where they were from, but I just decided, okay, I just won't use those in my machine anymore. My computer was seeing them fine. It just wouldn't pull up on my machine. Get your next color ready, whatever you want to have next. They're calling for red. I'm going to go ahead and use this green. I think going without the wash away is going to be fine. The reason you can't use the heat away is because you're going to have to put the iron to the leather, and that will mar your leather. It'll make a mark on it. Go ahead and choose whatever color you want next. For the camel colored one, I used a green. After I did the peacock first, and then I did the green. Yeah, it is really so. Literally, in the video, and I'll send out the video too, I stitched this topper. Let me change my thread and then I can show you. Focus, Jeannie, focus. Stop chasing shiny across the road. That's me. You know what I hate? I hate threading when this thing is like close. It's too bad the threader's like not up a little bit higher, huh? Okay, I'm gonna go ahead and stitch this out next. So this the very top row on this was without wash away. And then the other rows were with wash away. But it's not like, I mean, this is still big and bold over here. And some of the lines on here were like smaller, like where it passed twice, looked really good. All of this, there's no wash away on there. And all the stitches stayed up kind of nicely, so. Carolyn, Miss Carolyn L, looks like you're stitching with us today. You stitching? I know you said you were a maybe.
Yep, I'm stitching.
Yay. Yep. They buy that. They purchase it from Kimberbell. All the square pillows, so directly from Kimberbell. But what if you didn't do this design and you just went ahead and added your own? What you would have done, and maybe I'll show you with the other one, is when you loaded this, then you could have hit add, and then you could have added lettering to it. So you could even add lettering on top of it. That would be really cute. So, and the other thing you could do is on the Luminaire and the Solaris, it's a new feature, is you could create no-sew. So you could do the design and then you could no-sew all of the plaid and then you could add your own. So if you found that the stitching there to be confusing and you didn't want to just like fast forward through those, you could actually no-sew those. So I'll give you a little demo on that. Okay, you want to pick out your next color. You're going to stitch the plaid 3 detail. We're on this step 9 right now, right here. So I'm going to go with hot pink. Actually, this is a azalea. That's what it's called. Let me change out my thread. Okay, you know what? I don't know if I'm feeling the azalea. I'm gonna go. I mean, it looks like Easter, doesn't it? No, maybe I'll just go azalea. Let's just do it. Let's just do it. Irene says she stitched up 3 wallets. Irene, weren't they fun? They're just fun, easy, just like a fun little project. We're going to go ahead and stitch these 2 out, and then we're going to rinse them off. We're going to pat them really well, so they'll be pretty dry. Gray would have been pretty too, huh? Like this. This looks like Easter. Holy Easter wallet. Lori's been busy too. She already did 2 of her plaid fronts. That's okay. We all need a little Easter in our life. Easter bunny.
I did a yellow one. And then I wondered what it would be like if I put fabric on. So I did fabric and then did the...
Oh, did you do a fabric one?
I did fabric over the leather just to see what would happen.
And what did you think?
Oh, I think it's kind of cute. I'm going to make it out and see, but it's got little bees on there.
Yeah, you know what would be really fun too? What if you did candy bag? So what if you got candy bag and you put the fusible vinyl, like we should do that. My God, this project to me is like, it could be whatever you want. So versatile.
No.
Candy bag would be super fun. If you did like candy bag, and maybe if you did a combination candy bag front, then I think you would skip doing the embroidery. You could just let the candy bag be, make its own statement. But that would be super fun too.
Now, this is fun.
You could do, yeah, I think laminated cotton could be really fun too. And I wonder if you, you know, I'm just trying to think of how you would get it so it wouldn't fray if you were doing the fabric. Oh, you know what? Oilcloth. Oilcloth could be super fun. Okay, I'm just gonna leave the pink in there. We're gonna do our placement line for the next piece of vinyl. So just go ahead and hit start. And remember, we're doing one of the skinny pieces. Don't grab yourself a big old piece. You need one of the skinny pieces. So I think they wanted you to like wash away if there was stuff left. So Irene was saying she didn't know why they had to use wash away. You could use tear away, but you got to make sure that you tear it away from like inside. So I think wash away is just a good option, just to be careful. Remember, make sure you are placing it. You don't want to be too far down or too far up. So you can look right here, kind of slide it across, and then you can go ahead and peek underneath and make sure you have an equal amount on either side and go ahead and just pop it down. So just grab your green piece now. Now you're going to do the waves. I did mine with a light blue because it called for white. And I just thought light blue was going to be cuter. So you can see mine has light blue instead. I'm doing waves here. I think I'm going to do this. Maybe I'll just do navy. You know what would be fun? Would be a good, maybe variegated, but I'm just going to do a navy on here. Not sure if that really looks great, but it'll be, or should I do this? I'm going to do this. This is that peacock. It is called Reef. Oh, how appropriate. Reef. Reef's Oceany. Ooh, Shirley. Just checking out this sewing room. I love being nosy, looking around your sewing rooms. Okay, so it did the placement. Now you're going to put this down, and now we're going to do the tack down. If you look at your instructions on the very last page, page 8, it kind of goes through your instructions right here. So we stitch the placement line. It doesn't give the full color instructions with all the pictures, but it's going to give you step by step. So place the pocket A leather. We did that. Cover the leather with wash away topping. Well, I'm going to do this one without wash away so you can see kind of the difference with them. I'm just going to leave it. Tape the topping in place. You're going to stitch pocket A tack down line first. I have my reef in there. That's what I'm going to leave. How's everyone doing? Does anyone need any help? Just speak up. Everyone out here is super sweet. They can wait a minute if you need some help catching up. If you have the feature though, you could have color grouped and you would have done all your placement, but there are different colors, so this totally works out too. I also bought, I went on, what size of hoop are you using? I missed that part. I'm using a 5x7. Yeah, I'm using the 5x7 hoop. Yeah, this is a perfect one to like assembly line. Because what if you used an 8x12 and you just did like 3 down and 2 this way? I don't know if that would fit, but you know what I mean? You can configure it any way you want. And now it wants to do the waves. Let me just make sure I'm not leading you astray. Tack down, stitch the fish and waves detail. I bought some other leather. I'm going to show it to you. Let me go and grab it. Okay. So this leather that I got, because the Kimberbell leather can be kind of expensive, right? I haven't stitched on it yet, but this is Sally Tomato and it's faux leather. They had so many different colors and these were $12 a piece. That's the retail on them. I was like, oh, let me just check them out. So I haven't used them yet. They have like different embossing and I never want to throw stuff in your kit that you're not expecting because I don't want you to be like disappointed. I want you to be like, she didn't give me Kimberbell? Oh my God. But let's open it up and you can see, and there's lots of different colors. So if it's something you think you might be interested in, maybe I'll get some and have it. I mean, look at this pack. Seriously? So the Kimberbell pieces are 8 inches by 24 inches. This here is 18 inches by 25 inches. So 8, so it's like, I mean, double, at least double, right? Because it'd be 16 plus 2 more inches. I'm gonna pull it out and show it to you. Oh my goodness. Do you love it? So supple. However, I don't know how it stitches out, but look how gorgeous this is. And they have a ton of different colors. So if you think you might be interested in this, maybe I got this, I got this. Well, now that I have my new sewing room, I have so much room in there to hoard again and bring more things in and put them away and hide them from Patrick. And there you go. So this is, we are finished embroidering. This is going to be the first part of our class. What we're going to do, and I'm not going to do it here, but I want you to take this. You're going to remove whatever topping you can. Let me read my directions and make sure I'm not leading you astray. Stop me if I am, but I think I'm not. I'm going to bring this over here. We're going to rinse this, and I want you to pat this as dry as you can because I don't want to take over a wet, sloppy piece of leather to the machine. I don't think it's probably good for it. We're going to pop this out of the hoop. If you have topper on the top, you're going to remove as much as you can. You don't have to go crazy with it. I just, you know what? I feel like whatever you can get off, you should get off because it's like Elmer's glue. And do not rinse this down your sink. I want you to get a bowl of water. And it says to do it with cold water, but I always do warm. And this, I would just get rid of as much of this as you can. And you can use a pair of scissors. Let me get mine curved.
Jeannie, when I did one earlier this morning, I peeled off as much as I could, and then I just kind of dabbed it with a wet paper towel on the front.
And then did you just go ahead and stitch?
I just dabbed it with the paper towel so it wouldn't be sopping.
Oh, you know what? Yeah. Why don't we do that? We can just kind of keep going then. Did you dab it with a wet paper towel front and back?
Well, you know what? I used tearaway. I didn't use the wash away.
You didn't use the wash away?
No, not for the stabilizer because I wanted to see how it would. I think it's going to be fine on the inside of the wallet.
So did you use the topper on the front and then just a
I did this morning. I just did these this afternoon with none and they look fine.
Yeah, because, you know, it's kind of a pain in the butt to deal with dissolve away because it ruins your groove. You're like, oh, I have to wait.
Yeah.
So I think that's a great idea. I actually keep a sponge here at the store and I wasn't even thinking about that. But
I still had to let it dry though. So I don't think that we would want to skip the break, but it didn't get so sopping, you know.
Yeah, so that's a great idea. So let's go ahead. So Lori said she just used like a wet paper towel. You could take a wet paper towel and kind of swipe it across here and kind of swipe it across the back. You just want to do it until the goo is gone. And you'll know it like feels a little bit gooey and slimy. So do it until the goo is gone. Let's do that. So let's take a little bit of a break. We'll let it just dry off and just make, I know you have other things to work on, and then we're going to come back here in an hour and just make sure everything's dry so we're not putting a wet piece of fabric onto the machine. So, and you can rinse if you want, but I want you to pat it pretty dry. So, and just leave it wherever it is that it's going to get the most amount of air. I'm going to go do that to mine. I'll clean up a little bit and then I will see you back here at noon. Well,
Jeannie.
Noon my time. It's my time. Yes.
Jeannie, can I just do a real quick show and tell before everyone goes away?
Yeah, let's do it.
This was the fresh flowers.
I'm going to add a spotlight to you. Nice. Yeah, it's beautiful.
So I found that frame at Michael's that matched the embroidery perfectly. So I just wanted to see how cute it turned out.
It is really, I love what I saw people do with it. That one was so cute. I was like, what am I going to do with this? And I just stuck mine in a wooden hoop, but cute.
Yeah. Lots of one kind of went off the rails, but I was able to rein it back in and finish it. And so I wanted you to see that it got done.
I'm glad you got it done. Anyway. The frame is perfect.
Yeah, I just thought it turned out real cute. So. Okay.
I love it.
I'll see everybody in an hour.
All right, ladies. We're going to see you in an hour, so everything's nice and dry.
Okay.
And if you feel
just
like
use the same link.
just sit there and I'm gonna pause the video on this. I'm just gonna leave it open. So you could just leave yours open too, but I will pause the video on this. Can somebody remind me to start it again? I think I'll remember, but if you think of it, say start the video, but I'm going to go ahead and pause it right now and I'll see you in a little bit. There we go. So we're going to just hoop up our dissolve away stabilizer. And look at, this is, like I said, my big old piece that I had from like the end of a bolt. And I'm just going to hoop up here. And mine's not like completely dry, but it's pretty dry. I just kind of like blotted it dry and it's good. And then I took more paper towel and blotted it dry. So you do need to let me get that out of the way. I don't know what I was going to say. Any mind readers out there? Must not have been important. I hate being like caught mid-thought.
Hey, Jeannie. Did you trim the top portion of those pockets a quarter of an inch?
We did not trim that. Thank you so much for reminding me of that. We did not trim it yet, so we'll go ahead and trim that as well. After I stopped, I was like, oh, I didn't trim. We'll have to do that in the very beginning. That's why I depend on you ladies to be my second brain. All right, Wanda, let's let her in. I know this is kind of a mess, but I leave my stabilizer on the roll often, and that was just a big old piece that I had left over. So what Irene is talking about is you do need to go ahead and trim. So once you are done, 7, 6, of course, it's this page right here. Okay, we went ahead and we removed it from the hoop. We trimmed away our stabilizer close to the edge of the leather. Trim the top edge only of the leather a quarter of an inch from the tack down line. And this is directional. So when you're looking at it, what I want you to look at is on the very top, you're gonna have a bigger open spot right here. Like if you flip it this way, all stitched. If you flip it this way, this is your top right here, and you're going to have a bigger open spot. So that's just good for point of reference. So let me grab my little ruler. So make sure this is on the top, and we are going to trim so we're 1/4 inch away from that top purple line. And just lay this down. I've had people want these, so I just got some of these in the store. It's just a Creative Grids little 2.5 by, what is this, 9-inch ruler. So I'm going to go ahead and just, whoops, make sure your blade stays next to. And so it's going to look just like that. We're not trimming anything else. We're just trimming this top edge only. So that is done. We are ready to go on to our next page. So that is page 5. So hoop your stabilizer. We're going to load the embroidery machine and we're going to stitch the wallet body placement line. Color doesn't make a difference for this. Come on over here.
Hey, Jeannie.
Yeah.
Now might be a good time to switch your bobbin out if you want.
Yeah, you can switch your bobbin out because, I mean, you are going to need a matching bobbin. And if you don't want to forget, so on step number 13, it's really nice because they give you a little reminder here to change your bobbin out. And you could go ahead and just change out your bobbin right now. So, and the bobbin color you want, it doesn't have to be, you could do a contrasting color if you want. So if you want that last stitch out to be contrasting, you could do that. On this one, I did it with the light blue. So I did light blue. I haven't trimmed my like these little things yet. So whatever color you want it to be, or you could have it just be a matching color. Like in my wallet and this wallet, I just did that matching color. So this is really pretty. And so I think I'll just go ahead. And then you don't, so you could change it out later too. If you want to change it out later, you could change it out later. But these are my choices here, what I have. So I don't have to wind something. We have like everything. I like this green. So you can change it now or change it later, whatever works. You know, I might change it later so I don't forget to remind you. Or should we all just change it now? I don't want to forget to remind you. I think I'll remember because I've been really looking at the instructions today. What happens is sometimes I just start talking and then I don't remember. Let's go ahead and load our design. If you want to, you can slide your hoop on now as well. And the benefit of leaving this on like this is I can take my design and scoot it all the way up here. If it's on here, then I can do my next hooping and use this next piece. So let's go ahead and slide it on. What is that? I can see shadowing. There we go. And let's load our design. So I'm going to change this back. I was playing with this to see if you wanted to do both of your wallets at the same time. You could go ahead and put them in a 6 by 10 hoop. It's not going to fit. Both of them won't fit into the 5 by 7, but I'm just going to load up for my 5 by 7. And let's get our design. And it's going to be this right here. Go ahead and set it. And if you want, I'm going to scoot mine all the way up to the top. So usually with stuff like this, I don't use my finger. I'll just use the move arrows. And did you see how I went right out of the hoop? If you wait and do it in your where you hit embroidery, if you do it in this page, it's not going to let you go outside of your perimeter if you have the hoop on. So since my hoop is on, now when I go layout move and I scoot it up, you'll hear a knock knock and it's just going to go that far. So that's kind of nice. All right. First step, it's going to stitch the wallet body placement line. Color does not make a difference. I'm just going to go ahead and hit start. I still have this reef color in from before, and that's fine because it's just your placement line. What was that sound? Hang on, I have this leaning over here. Check your upper threading. Anytime you get that, and I don't clip my thread, but I will just unthread it. I'm going to just rethread it again. The other thing it could be is it could be my bobbin thread if it's just not long enough and it didn't catch. I'm just going to check it and just make sure. Might as well, so we don't have to stop again. Okay, I'm going to go back to the beginning. Actually, it's a placement line. I'm just going to start it right here. If it was a tack down, I would definitely go back to the beginning. But this is just a placement. It kind of shows us where it's going to go. Have your larger piece. So you should have a piece that's 4.5 inches by 5 inches. You can give it a little shot of spray if you want. And I spray in my dime spray tent. And when you lay it down, so now we're on this step, place 1, wallet body leather. And again, I'll do this so I can kind of see that I'm covering those lines, scoot it over, and then I'll check it right here and just make sure it's kind of equidistant. All right, now it wants you to stitch the wallet body tack down, and your color is going to make a difference. So I'm just going to take out my reef. And I am going to go with, I'm going to go with purple. This is one of the colors that I use. So choose whatever color you want. On the brown wallet that I can't find, I just did the matching color. And the color I used was Glide's medium brown. This is what I used for that one. I'm slowly, you know, every time we do an order, I just order like a couple of threads. I'll order a handful of threads. And I'm slowly accumulating all of the browns too. I mean, not the browns, all of the glide colors. So stitch the wallet body tack down line. Here we go. If you want, you can tape. They just had you tape. Just watch, make sure you don't get any buckles in your fabric. You're gonna have plenty of room. You do not trim outside that. Your wallet is gonna be within this space right here. How are we doing? Does anyone need any help? Are we all good? So next thing it wants you to do is stitch the pocket bee placement line. If you do it in a different color, it might show. I'm going to show you what it looks like on mine. I did this. This might be a good time, actually, if you want to do just a matching color with my little mermaid one. I call it a mermaid one. If your leather is not up high enough, you're going to see, where's my placement? Oh, you know what? They're over here on this side. So they kind of get cut off. So don't even worry about it, actually, because they're going to be way over here. So don't worry about it. I'm just going to go with my purple. And if you trim in closer, which on the other one I did an 1/8 of an inch, which I'm going to do, you're not going to see it at all, but it's over here on the side. So don't worry about it. Okay, you're gonna grab one of your smaller pieces. So you should have one more piece that's 3.5 by 5.5. That's what we're gonna lay down first. So grab that piece. Oh, what if you did this like, I keep thinking about all the fun stuff that you could do to this. What if you did like everything different color leather? Like that would be super fun. So just go ahead and bring it up to that placement line. Make sure you have an equal amount left and right. And then if you want to tape it down, you can, which you should, but I'm not going to. I'm just going to stitch. And this is stitching the stitch the pocket bee tack down. Oh, Laura, you're going to have to show us yours. It sounds like you did a whole bunch of them. You're going to have to show us. Now it's going to do another stitch line right here. So yeah, you could do fabrics. You could do, the only thing about the fabric is you're going to have raw edge. So I would do like some kind of laminated fabric or an oilcloth or something that's not going to fray. Or if you want that like raw edge look, you could have the raw edge look. All right, we are now on step 9, step 5 in our stitch out. Now it's going to do another set of placement lines, and that's where you're going to be laying down your embroidered piece. So just go ahead and hit start. And then you're going to place the previous prepared pocket A leather, aligning the top edge with the placement line. So it's going to be the top edge that you did the 1/4 inch. If you're feeling like your hand might move when you're stitching, get your tape out. You don't want to spray this because you're going to be like reaching in here. So anything where you need like a clean edge, I never spray. But on this, we could go ahead, line this top edge up. It's going to stitch inside of these lines. So make sure you don't have it too far over this way or too far over this way. You want to make sure that your outside stitch line right here is going to be outside this line. So you see my line here is outside of this, and this line is outside of this. I might nudge it over just a little bit. And I'm just going to go ahead and give it a little piece of tape right here. And then we'll tape it right over here too, just in case you're worried that your hand might slip. Sometimes, I don't know if, am I the only one? Sometimes I have impulsive thoughts when I'm driving. I'm like, what if my hand just pulled to the right and I went over the cliff? Am I the only one? Is that just me? Okay, let's keep stitching. All right. We are now right here on step 11. Stitch the pocket A tack down, and it's going to go just like that. Now you're going, I don't think I ever want to drive with Jeannie. There we go. We are almost done with this. That's how quick and easy this is. Kudos to Kimberbell for a super fun, easy project. Let's get your last piece of leather. This should be the 4.5 by 5.5. And we're going to put it right side up. We're going to cover this whole thing right here and tape your corners. Tape outside of your stitch line if you can, so just right on the corner. And we are now on page 7. So it says right here to tape, and it wants you to tape over. You don't have to tape that whole way. If anything, I would just put some tape on the right-hand side. Your foot is going to start here. It's going to go this way. Where you worry about it is you worry about it this way. So you can go ahead and put some tape in there. And we are going to raise our foot height because it's going to get really, really thick. So, and I'm going to show you how to do that. There's times when you do want to raise your foot height. You want to be mindful that you want to put it back down again when you're done. So I don't think you need a whole piece of tape right here, just over here on the right-hand side. That's it. Your foot is going to glide over here. This part of your foot might want to scoop under this. All right, let's make sure we're ready. Oh, if you haven't done it yet, we already did it, but we already changed our bobbin thread. I actually put Did I put green in mine? I think I did. And that's going to be, or did I put purple? I can't even remember. But this is where you want to change your bobbin to match the top thread or to match the color of your leather. How do I move my foot up? I'm going to show you. We're going to do it all together. So go ahead and change your bobbin right now. And make sure that you're either matching your fabric or you're doing contrasting, you're matching your bobbin, whatever you want to do. But don't leave the white, and the white's not, unless you're doing white on top. That might look good too, but put something pretty in there. We're going to stitch out the wallet outline, and I'm going to show you how to raise your foot height. So if we lower it, you see we are right on top of our leather. And I'm going to just, should we raise it up? Because we added another layer. Yeah.
Hannah said she wants to add the pre-designs. Do we have another one, or do you have to order it?
It's definitely going to be here. I ordered like 8 of them. Okay. So just put a note on there that we're adding it, or leave me a note and send me a note. Let's put it up just a little bit right now. This is where you go and change your embroidery foot height. This is different than your sewing foot height. So I'm going to go ahead and touch this button right here on your main page. And this is for Baby Lock and Brother. I don't know what it is for other machines, but you're going to have embroidery foot height. What's in black is default. When we're done, you want to put it back here. And I'm going to remind you to do that. If you don't, you will skip stitches and your upper thread will break. You wouldn't even guess it, but I can't tell you how many people come in here and they're complaining about broken thread. And when I put their presser foot down, their embroidery foot down, I go, your foot's too high. And all we do is change it back, and then their problem is solved. So let's go in here. Let's go ahead and just do 0.8. I actually did 0.8 going off. When I came back on, I raised it back up to 1. So, but I think 0.8 is going to work fine. We are going to change it when we get back here and we're on one layer. We're going to change it back to 0.6. You're going to see how high it is. Or maybe we should. Let's go here. Let's go 1. 0.1. Okay. You ready? Start stitching. When it gets here, I'm going to stop it though, and I'm going to put that foot back down. See how high it is? You want it to skim, but not push. I'm going to stop it here. I'm going to put it back down because it's going to be really high on that back side. Let's go back 0.6. Okay, we're back to default. You don't want it super high on this back part. I left it. I was like, oh, what if I leave it? And the first thing that happened is my thread broke. Mine is still pressing at 1. Okay, I'm going to stop it right here, and we're going to do it again. Are you in embroidery foot? Does yours, Shirley, does yours say embroidery foot height? Because we're not in sewing, we're in embroidery. I'm going to go back up. I'm going to take it back to 0.1 right now for the rest of it. Boop. Okay, you're going to see that foot's going to be much higher now. See how much higher it is? And you'll have too much rebound if you leave it there for the whole thing. But it's pretty thick right now with the leather in the back too. And we are done. Put your foot height back. Don't forget, this will cause you heartache if you go to do just a regular embroidery project and you're that high. So I'm going to go back to default. And that's how you use your embroidery foot height. All right. And that tells us that we're done. Let's go ahead and we're going to trim it up. Shirley, were you able to figure it out? I like trimming this at point. You got it? I like trimming it at an 1/8 inch. Oh my God, who's that cutie in the room with you, Shirley? Mine keeps breaking. So when you said yours keeps breaking, is your thread breaking? And it could be the thread. If everything was stitching fine, you isolate your variables. You go, okay, what's different? What's different with my embroidery? It was working fine before. What did I do? Did I change the needle?
I changed the foot height and now it's breaking. The thread's breaking.
Did you put the foot back down?
Yeah, I'm going to try that now.
So if you're
sewed over the thickest part just fine, but then when it got to the thinner part, it broke.
Oh, yeah. So that's what I was saying. If your foot is too high, it'll cause your thread to break. So we made it high here. When I got over here, I lowered it back down again. I put it back down to 0.6 for over here, and then I raised it back up when we did the thick part. So don't leave it. It will break. Your thread will break over there. But it's really like pretty thick here to leave it at 0.6 at the default. Go ahead and remove your tape. Don't forget the tape on the back. This is a good time to use your precision chips tweezers, but you don't want to stab your leather either. So I'm just going to use my finger.
I'm sorry. I still don't know how to lower my foot.
What machine are you on?
I've got the Brother.
I didn't hear that.
The Brother 3600D.
Can you say that again? Okay, the Brother 3600. I think you have a settings button. So your settings button, I know this is going to be different. You have your your screen, and it's going to be somewhere here on the right-hand side. It should look like notebook paper. It should look just like notebook paper.
Okay.
And, you know, I'm not positive. Hey, Michelle, can you look on the 3600 and see if it gives you the ability to adjust your embroidery foot height? We're going to check. We're going to check our machine and see if that's possible. It might not be a feature on that.
Okay, thank you.
And then you just be careful with it. Okay. Yeah. This, we're going to go ahead and we're going to trim a quarter of an eighth of an inch. I did a quarter of an inch on this other one, and I think it was too much. So I'm going to do an eighth of an inch. And I would just use your rotary cutter and your ruler. And you have a couple different lines, right? We're going to go this last stitch out, the innermost one. That is what we're going to trim around, not this outer one. That was just your tack down. Page 7. It's on page 7 for the embroidery foot height. On the 3700, which is like the 3600. So look in your settings on page 7. Do you have it?
On page 7?
Page 7.
Oh,
do you see anything?
I do. Yes, I do. Thank you.
There you go. Put it out. Don't forget. Put it back to the regular foot height, and you'll learn to recognize it. You'll be stitching. Your thread will break, and you'll look at your foot because your mind will go into troubleshooting mode, and you'll go, "Oh, look how high that foot is. I forgot to put it back down again." So you can do your fray check now or later. I'm just going to trim this, and then we'll. I have E6000. I actually wanted to just use my regular fray check, but it was all dried up. And I found it easier to just kind of put it on my finger and kind of rub it around. These corners, you're going to want a good pair of scissors. So my favorite, I have a pair of Gingers and I have a pair of Kais. I brought my Kais with me. I think a pair of scissors this size is really important to have in your stash. Just, you know, and I have a couple pairs of these. I love this size. Sometimes you just don't want to have a big pair of shears and you don't want to use your embroidery scissors. So something like this is really, really good. Trim that corner and just make it pretty. Just kind of roll it around. And just do the best you can. You can play with that a little bit more. So just imagine you were doing a whole bunch of these and you didn't have somebody that was talking so much like me. Give it a little haircut. Make it as gorgeous as you want. My kids' senior superlatives came out. And Violet was voted big brain, biggest brain. That's for me. And then Kai was voted most competitive. That's from Patrick. I'm just kidding. It's probably all from Patrick. And they do talk about putting some fray check on. What I found, because I was like sloppy with my fray check, is I just took my E6000 And I just kind of dabbed it on my finger and then kind of touched here. That to me was just a little bit easier than just like smearing it on. So, and it could have been that my E6000 wasn't like, let's see. This is when like I'm squeezing so hard and it just comes flying out. I need to pin it. I love all E6000 products. There we go. Just a little bit. I found I was really sloppy when I used the, when I try to like kind of roll it on with my finger. I was really sloppy. And this dries clear. But I like my fray check just as much. So it's not like you have to have this product. If you have fray check, I love my fray check just as much. But I did find it easier for me to just put it on my finger and just kind of like spread it on those stitches. I don't know about, oh, did you see there was that big glob in there? Did I do everything? Did we follow the instructions? Are we done? I think we are. Oh, and dissolve any remaining stabilizer. I didn't dissolve anything else away. Woo! I just kind of left it the way it was and I was pleased with it. So that all came out at once. And just on the ends, on those stitches, I got a little crazy.
Jeannie, I have one comment and one question.
Yeah.
I was cutting this with my rotary cutter.
Yeah.
And I probably have a dull blade, but would it be easier to use a 60-degree rotary cutter rather than the 45?
I mean, I don't think it really makes a difference. You know, it's just, you're just cutting it along. I use my 60 at home. Like I have a 60 clover. I just kind of use them interchangeably. I think when it really makes a difference is when you have small stuff and curves. When you have small with curves, then having the smaller rotary makes a difference. The 60 goes faster. So, ooh, we're going to do some show and tell. Okay, let me just finish. I'm just going to dab this on there. What, did you have trouble cutting it, Alice? Did it not come out?
No, I did it. I'm sure it's my blade. It's fine. It's perfect.
Why do we suffer through bad blades? We all do it. We're like, and as soon as you change it, you're like, oh my God, what was wrong with me?
Bad needles.
Patrick goes, why do we suffer through bad needles? So just a little fray check on these. This is going to dry clear, and regular fray check is fine. E6000 is fine. Anything's going to work, just so those threads don't come undone. How cute. Love it. Oh, I did do green on the back. Seriously, I feel like this should be a great project just to assembly line and make them. Have a stash of them. They can be little gift cards. You can pop a little note in here, pop a gift card, or pop some cash in there, and you are ready to go. We are going to do some show and tell because I know some people did some other ones. Shirley's been holding hers up. I'm going to turn my spotlight off. I'm going to turn hers on. Let me close this window, and let's do a little show and tell. Add spotlight. I'm going to close my, that one is, oh, you did, oh, is that like a another vinyl with a print on it? All right. And you can unmute too, Shirley. That is adorable. What color is the one behind it?
White.
You've got white?
And then sprinkles and then white.
Love it. Yeah. Adorable. Yeah. What's on the very front? Is that just white too, or is it fuzzy?
No, what happened is I was trying to do the tearaway stabilizer.
Yep.
But it doesn't work.
Okay. No tearaway on the back.
On the front.
Were you using it as a topper?
Yes.
Yeah, that's going to be a lot of work. Like you're going to be able to get it off, but it's definitely going to be a lot of work. So I say go either, I say go no topper at all, or definitely do wash away.
Yeah.
Who else has something to show us? Is there somebody else that has? Who do we have here?
I do, Jeannie.
Who's saying I do? I'm going to look for
Lori.
you. Lori, okay. Oh, Lori, look at that. Okay, I'm going to spotlight Miss Lori. Why isn't it letting me spotlight you?
Oh, hi, cute puppy.
Let me speaker view. Hang on, let me get to Lori. For some reason it is admit, remove. Let's find Lori. Okay. Spotlight for everyone. Cute. I love that. So just 3 different colors. I know you did a whole bunch. Do you have some other ones?
I haven't finished them yet.
That is adorable.
I'm gonna do this yellow one with the bees.
So is that fabric, the yellow one, Lori?
Yeah, I put fabric over the leather just to see what would happen.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then
yeah.
I had I had the pink. I had a pink one.
We'll wait. We want to be inspired, and then we'll go to Irene next.
Yeah, go to. Oh, here they are. I couldn't find them.
Yeah, when you're on the spot, it's hard to find stuff. Oh, nice. Cute. So is that pink? Is that a vinyl?
Yeah, pink vinyl and then a black vinyl.
Nice. Love them.
So those are the fronts, and I'm gonna do an all pink, and then I'm gonna do black and red with this black one.
Excellent. All right, let's go, Miss Irene. Cute. Oh, I love that. So you did one of your, like the middle one you did with green in that. That is adorable. I like that because it's just kind of fun. Like I should have done that with mine. Why didn't I think of that? Love it. Did you do some other ones, Irene? Now that Irene is retired. Ooh, can you hold it up a little higher? Oh, that one's like, it looks like 4th of July. Is that on navy?
Yeah.
I love it.
It's on navy and it's red, white, and blue thread.
Super cute. That one is fun. Super fun.
Yeah.
Well, it was a fun project, wasn't it?
Yep. It was.
Okay. Who else has something for me? Oh, Asuli, I like that you're not driving anymore, being unsafe, watching videos and driving. I'm kidding. I know you're just listening. All right. I think that's, oh, wait, here we go. We have something. Spotlight for everyone. Cute. That is, I love those colors. You know what? Yours comes up as iPhone. So who is it? You're muted.
I'm using my iPhone today.
Tell me your name.
Martha.
You're Martha with the sister?
No, Martha Hopkins.
Martha Hopkins. Okay, Martha, I should recognize you from your ceiling because I recognize the ceiling. Can you show us that again, Martha? I love it. So you did yellow. It looks like yellow. And is that blue and red?
Correct.
It's awesome. I love it. Just gets us all thinking, right? Like, what can we do with this project? And anyone else has something to show me? Come on, Katerina. I know you did yours. Yeah, let's see it. Katerina's got pink. Oh, so you did yours in pink too. That's super cute. What color were your threads? You're muted. I can't unmute, but I can mute on my end.
I think I'm unmuted now.
Yeah, you are.
Yeah. It's a purple and burgundy kind of color.
Is that going to be for somebody? Is it going to be a gift?
No, it's for myself. Just to put in my bag.
I know. I love it. This is all I need. All I need is to carry something like this.
Yeah. Very nice.
Thank you.
Enjoyed it.
That was super fun. Lynn's saying, okay, Lynn's saying she didn't stitch today, but I know Lynn is going to post something, and I know Lynn's going to be amazing because she's going to add a whole bunch of stuff to it. So I am really excited to see what Lynn comes up with. Is there anyone else that wants to show theirs? Miss Susie, did you stitch with us today, or Wanda? I know, Wanda, your camera's not working.
No, I didn't.
That's okay. I'm going to send you the video so you can go ahead and do that at your leisure. Alice, did you send yours? Do you have something to show us?
No. I mean, I could show you, but it's just like the one on the cover of the instructions.
No worries. Well, thank you so much for joining me. I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to go get going with my day for today. And that was super fun. Next project is Shirley, go ahead.
Sorry, is there any way to make this more stiff?
I think it would just be stiffer material. I don't think you can do anything with
like put Deckelbill or something.
Yeah, you could stabilize it because it's going to be encased. So you could put something like, maybe you would want to stabilize it just with the two main pieces, and you could add like Deckerville light. Maybe if you're going to do that, go to a bigger needle. So you're going to want to go to like a 9014, depending on how thick it is. Oh yeah. So Lynn is also saying, what about some flexi foam? So if you add some flexi foam, that's going to add some body to it as well. You could shape flex it. I did a Amy Butler project, and she had us put like, I want to say she had us put maybe 2 layers. So it's not like you just have to do 1 layer of shape flex. She had us add like 2 layers of shape flex. So yeah, you have some different options. You know what I did want to talk about, and I forgot it, and then you just asked that question and it reminded me. So if you did want to do this again and you wanted to add something to it, you could go ahead and let's go home, embroidery. And let's say we were going to do 2 of these. Well, so we'll do this one. And you don't even have to do 2 of them. We could do this one because that's just 1 color. So set it and move it up, edit, do another copy. And now we could personalize these. So we could go in here, and there's this no sew button. So you could go in here and you want that outline, but we could go to this part, or let's see. Here we go. So we want the tangerine, we want the placement. What we don't want is the gray, and you could just hit the no sew. And then we could do that to this one too. No sew, go to the color that you want to no sew or get rid of. And then we could add. So now we could add, and maybe you just want to add a name. So I could do Violet. I-O-L-E-T. Set. I'm going to go ahead and put that right here. And then I could do whatever I wanted to that. Now that I have text, I could go to my text. I could audition different fonts. Maybe that font's not the one for me. I can just go ahead and audition them. I can size them. I can do whatever I want. I really like, ooh, that one's really pretty. I love that. And then size and grow it equidistantly. So you could do lots of different things. You could really personalize this for what you want. You could also go maybe with this one. So I'm going to set that. Maybe with this one, I want to add an embroidery design to this one instead. So we could go add. Let's go into this pocket. Oh, this pattern cannot be combined. So let's see if we can go in here. Can we combine some of these? Let's do something smaller. I love this fish. Set it. Remember, when you go to size the design, you have 2 choices. This is going to be 20% up and down. This one will let you double and have it in size. So I need to make that quite a bit smaller. And did somebody ask you a question? Was that just my voice echoing? So now you can really personalize it. Okay, so you are not limited to just doing the design on there. You can use that as a template. If your machine does not have the no sew, don't worry about it. When you get to that step where it wants you to stitch it out, just skip it. Just skip it, go to the next step and skip those colors. But now you have this like template, and now you can just make it whatever you want to make it, which I think is so much fun. Keep in mind though, we did lose quite a bit of that design. Like you had the outside that it cut. So you're going to lose, what's this? On this side, you're going to lose probably, it's a little bit less. It's probably about 1/2 inch. You're going to lose 1/2 inch all the way around. So you got to keep that in mind when you're putting a design in there, that you're going to lose some of that. Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you.
So,
Michelle's going to do the next one. So Michelle's going to be doing the bag. She and I kind of alternate back and forth, and she's going to be doing the bag design. You know what's perfect about that? Michelle is the bag lady. That's her area of expertise. So I'm sure she's going to share some amazing tips with you. And I will see you later. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks.